Hey, welcome to my channel. My name is Nancy, and this is Nancy's Handmade Crafted Creations. Today I'm going to show you how I make my shoes for my gnomes, my noses, and my arms with the hands or mitts, whatever you want to call them. And this is one I did, and I will do a video on him. And I did his hands a little different than the ones I'm going to show you. These I sewed on my machine. So let's do the shoe first. These are I get these from the Dollar Tree, and there comes 6 in a package, and they're the little party favors in the aisle with the baby, like for a baby shower and stuff like that. So you can get those at the Dollar Tree. So you're going to take a little bit of rice and put in the bottom, and then we're going to take glue, and try not to get the glue gun to touch the rice, otherwise it will be, you'll pick it up. So I just kind of drizzle it on the edge of the shoe all the way around, and then in the middle, if you just let it fall on the rice. And then we're going to take and put it on a piece of, like, from cardboard, from a cereal box or Kleenex box. And then just press it down. And any of the glue that squirts out, that's fine, because we're going to cut the cardboard off to fit the bottom of the shoe. I'm just going to wipe a little bit of that glue off. And then just trim the excess off. And try not to trim too close into the shoe. And then I like to go and tip it over and do it this way. So now we have the bottom of our shoe covered. And I add the rice for weight, especially in this one, so it's going to help him stand up. And then I took a piece of material. If you use fleece, you don't have to fold over this edge, but I folded the edge over so it would be it wouldn't fray. And you're going to take and you're going to start on the back of the shoe right here, and you're going to put some hot glue all the way down and right down along the sole of the shoe. And then you want that edge that's of the fold of the fabric down, going right along the edge of the bottom of the shoe. And then you're going to put glue right next on the side of the shoe next to the sole. And we're going to do that all the way around. So make sure it gets nice and tight into the shoe, to that cardboard. And then go all the way to the back of the shoe again. And if any glue squirts out, you can probably give it a second and then just wipe it off. But we're going to cover the bottom of that shoe with something else, with some black fleece. So I'm just going to take and cut some of that excess off, and I'm going to fold this over, but I'm only going to glue about halfway up, because if I glue all the way up here, this is going to be too stiff for me to tuck inside the shoe. And then I'm going to glue that down. So we're only gluing down by the shoe, not up. We're not gluing up here. And so just press that in. And now we're going to take the front of the shoe, we're going to put some glue right in the side, inside the fabric here, and then we're going to tuck it in. And you want to be careful, it might be a little hot. And this piece of fabric is 2 inches. You probably want it like 2 1/4, so you have enough to tuck in the shoe. Mine could have been a little bit longer. And then right on the sides here and toward the back you're going to put glue and tuck that in, and just be careful, it's going to be a little hot. And then we're going to add some weights to the inside of the shoe so that it has, when he stands up, he doesn't fall over, so he has weight in there. So then we have that. I have glue on my fingers. So I just took some of these nuts and bolts and I'm going to drop those in. And if you get them in a big package, they're not that expensive. Otherwise, if you find something else that you can use for weight, I've used rocks before. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of rice so I can fill that up. Oh, I knocked my microphone. And then I have a little circle of fabric that I'm going to put hot glue all along inside there so I can cover that up. And then press that down. If there's any hanging over, you can cut it off. And then we're going to take a strip and we're going to go around the bottom edge of the sole of the shoe. So you're going to start in the back of the shoe again on the bottom and just do a little bit of glue and then put that down. And then I like to turn it and flip it so I am hanging on to that, and then flip it over my thumb. And then just run a thin bead of glue and then put this strip down. And you're going to go all the way around until you get to the back again. And you can stretch it. And this piece was probably like a 1/4 inch wide by about 6-7 inches. You probably don't even need 7 inches. And then just glue it right up until it butts against the other piece, and then cut the excess off. And we have that, and now we're going to take and put glue on the whole bottom of the shoe, and you want to get close to the edge but not going over too much. And then we're going to put this on some fleece so we can cover up the cardboard. And then we will cut that excess off. So I'm just going to cut most of it. And then I'm going to use my smaller scissors. And there we have our shoe, and I made a little bow out of some probably 1/8 inch ribbon. And I just take a pair of tweezers and hang on to it, put a drop of glue on the back. I'm going to wipe my glue gun off here. So just take a drop of glue and then just put that on the front of the shoe. So you can make these in any colors. I've done ones where I just use fleece, and I haven't done, I've done everything in the same color. So there's our shoes, and I'm going to show you how I make my noses. So I have this stretch knit fabric that I got from Joann's, and I take and lay it over my hand. I have to get some stuffing, and then I start stuffing it in between my hand like that. And I like to make my noses like this. I think they are a lot cuter. I like the bigger noses on my gnomes. So I usually buy this by a couple yards of it if I use a coupon. And it's a flesh colored. So then you get it. I'm going to put a little more. And we're going to stuff that, and then you're going to grab it. Make sure you got all the ends in there. And then I get some really strong string, crochet thread. If you can pull it and it breaks, it's not strong enough. And I've got this and I doubled it. And you want a fairly long piece because it's, when I make this gnome and I will show you how I do the nose and the body. So you have to have enough to wrap around his, to make for his neck, where his neck is, so that you can tie this on instead of just gluing it. And you're just going to tie a knot. And don't cut this long string off because that's going to get tied around the neck of the gnome. And you will see that in the video when I make that gnome. It's just like the one I did with my Valentine gnome I made. And then you're going to pull up the excess so you can get it. You can kind of shape it so you get it nice and tight. And if you can't grab your material, if you have a pair of like needle nose pliers or something, so then I take this string and try to get it so it's kind of centered on the top or the bottom, and fold it over like that. Grab these ends and hang on to them. We're going to cut off, but we're going to leave like a 1/4 inch of fabric. We're not going to cut too close to the string. And there's our nose. And now I'm going to show you how I do my arms. I do them a few different ways. I've done these ones where I've just made it into a ball like this. So I will show you how I do that. And you can do it with any type of fabric. I did, this one was with like a stretch black knit. So you're just going to take a little bit of stuffing, and we're going to kind of do it just like our noses. It's not going to take much. This is really thick black fleece, so it doesn't take much. And then get some, this you don't need very much because it's going to get tucked in the arm, but enough to tie. So you're going to wrap it around a couple of times and then pull it tight, and then you want to knot it. So you got to kind of hang on to it as you knot it. And I knot it about a couple times. And then you can cut the excess strings off, and then cut some of the excess material because there's a lot that's not going to all fit into that sleeve. And then we're just going to tuck it in here. And what I try to do, and I kind of forgot on this one, is I try to cut my sleeves so they're on the stretch. And then you're just going to tuck this in. And you can glue it, but I didn't. And just make sure you have some of that covering his hand. And then I tied it off with some black crochet thread. And when I do my tube, this is how I make it. I sew it. You can sew it by hand. You can hot glue it, but I don't really like hot gluing. Or you can do it by machine, and I like to do it by machine. It's faster. So this is about 3.5 inches wide. 3 inches you fold it over, and then when I make my sleeves, like when I have this one all done, I cut it in half, and then the sleeves get glued behind his head, and then they won't be seen because they'll be underneath his hat, but that you will see that in the video. And that's how I make the arms, and then I would measure them so get them even, and then I would cut them in half. So that's how I make my arms, my shoes, and my noses. Thanks for joining me today. If you like my channel, hit that subscribe button, and if you click on the bell, that will notify you each time I upload a new video. So I will see you in the next video. Thanks for coming today. Bye bye.